Okie dokie, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Papa.
It is hopefully Monday, December, what is Monday? I don't even know what day it is. It's the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th. It's the 7th.
Ooh, December 7th. Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor. Tori's doing Pearl Harbor in school right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know, it's really interesting. Sorry, squirrel. So today for your DL assignment, you are going to be working on your Persia grid, which looks like this. Ooh, isn't it so pretty?
It's beautiful.
Yours does not have the little dots, but
Yes.
I'm going to show you how to do it. Miss G just came up with that. Pretty fancy. Usually I come up with the basic idea and then she makes it better.
That's usually how it goes.
That's usually how it goes. All right, so I'm going to screen share here with you. Here we go. Okay, I gotta move this. I did this last time too, guys. So we are gonna be looking at the Persia grid, which this is a picture of it. So here's the deal. In this class, we study what, 4 million years of history. And so we have to pick and choose what we study, what we think is important, what we think is gonna make you critical thinkers, future citizens,
Good history students.
Yes, good history students, able to take what has happened in the past and use it to help knowledge your future. So there's a lot of things we don't get to focus on. And what the Persia grid does is the Persia grid is going to allow us to focus on 6 aspects of each of the main civilizations. So you can see we have Mesopotamia, which is what we're doing, China, Egypt, Africa, India, Greece, Rome, Mayans, and Aztecs, and then finally the Incas. But we are going to start with Mesopotamia. And oops, there's a map activity. And the 6 different aspects or pieces that we're going to be talking about is Persia, which is what it's called, Persia grid. So P is for political government. E is we're going to focus on economics. R is focusing on religion. S is focusing on social class, and I'll explain all these in a minute. I is intellectual arts, and A is area geography.
Every civilization has each one of these aspects.
Yes.
Every civilization.
And so the kind of cool thing is we're going to be able to start comparing, like what is similar, say, about Mesopotamia and Egypt's government, or what is different about their economy. Or we're going to notice like their area and geography is both very similar because they were both started on rivers. Same thing with China, whereas Greece was kind of started on sea, a large body of water. So we're going to be able to start comparing these, which is going to be pretty fun. So again, today we are just going to be filling out this column, our Mesopotamia. We have kids who will turn in the whole thing and we're like,
yeah, no.
How do you do that? We haven't even done that. Yeah. That'd be like me filing my taxes for year 2025 next week. Like, how does that work? How does that work? So on the back, which looks like this, you're going to see where it says concepts that must be included. Notice must, not maybe, possibly, if you feel like it. These must. So for the political, you must put in the type of government, which again, going to be interesting because we're going to start looking at what types of government they had and how is it different from ours. And we're going to notice almost all of them until we start getting to Greece and Rome, crazy different from ours, crazy different. So you have to do the type of government, you have to do 2 important leaders, and you have to do the years it was a civilization. If you were in class, you could just copy from my wall because I have it listed. But you're not in class, so you can't. Just kidding, not really.
So if they want to do more than 2 important leaders, they could.
They could,
right?
yes.
They could.
Yes, these are the bare
the
minimum. Yeah, bare basics.
Bare basics.
Like if your parent cooks you dinner and they make you peanut butter and jelly, like that's the bare, like we fed you, that's fine. Like I do that all the time. Like I fed you, didn't have to be a gourmet meal. But if you want to be a good parent and make them more, you could. So you could do more. E stands for economic. Number 1, what type of currency or money system did they use? And then 2 types of crops that they grew. And each civilization grew crops. And again, going to be crazy different. Mesopotamia was doing a lot of wheat, whereas in Greece, because it's a different climate, they were doing things like grapes and fig trees. So it's definitely different depending on the area and the climate.
So you might also include some trade, like things that they may have traded.
Yes.
Even though that's not on there, I have my students write in trade. It's something that you might consider because like when we get to Greece, trade is a huge deal. And most of these civilizations had some kind of trade with other civilizations as well. So,
and we're going to see trade is how a lot of these ideas and traveling around the world is because people from China would take their products and trade with people of Rome. All of a sudden, people in Rome are using Chinese silks and porcelain, which never would have happened if China hadn't started trading.
Right.
All right, R stands for religion, type of religion. So what type is it? And then give me the definition. And I know you're being like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find all this? Calm down. I'll show you. Yeah. Just 1 second.
Got it covered.
Got it covered. And then also name at least two. Did I say? Oh, 4. I apologize. I can't see. I'm old. 4 of their gods or goddesses. So every civilization that we study had more than one god. It wasn't until we get to Rome and we start talking about Christianity that the idea of one god came in. Before that, every civilization had a religion with multiple gods.
Polytheists.
Polytheism, yes.
Polytheists.
S stands for social class. Again, this is interesting because we come from a democracy where we come with the idea that everyone is created equal. That, not so much true back then, not so much true. So we're going to see what that looks like and who is considered the most important and who is at the bottom. I is, you need to do their name of their writing system, and you must do at least 5 inventions that from each civilization. So there's so many. And again, we'll show you how to do this. Last is going to be area and geography. Oh, Miss G just knocked over her stick.
Stick just took a fall.
He does not like our video. So when you're talking about area and geography, first off, you're going to talk about the modern day location. So when you did the Mesopotamia map last week, we talked about how the modern location was Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. So that, some of them are going to be easy because Egypt modern day location is Egypt. You can get on a plane and be like, pilot, take me to Egypt, and he'll know what you're talking about. You get on a plane and say, pilot, or she. Get on a plane and say, take me to Mesopotamia, they have no idea what you're talking about because it doesn't exist anymore. So when we talk about modern day location, where is it located today? Again, Egypt, Egypt. Mesopotamia is Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. At least 2 bodies of water. You should already know this from Mesopotamia. You could do the Tigris and the Euphrates. The climate, and again, we'll show you where to find this. And you must name at least 2 cities. All right, so I'm going to go to my next screen because I got a little. So you're going to notice what we did is I should have done this before, but I didn't think about it. So Miss G again thought of this. So this is what you have to come up with government. You have to talk about the type of government. So that's going to be my dash right there. 2 important leaders, which is going to be right there. And then the years it was a civilization is going to go right here. So for economy, same thing, we're going to go currency, what type of currency? That will go right there. And then at least 2 crops or resources. So I'm going to do number 1 and number 2. So it'll just be easy to fill it in. Same thing with religion. Religion needs to have type of religion, definition of the religion, and then at least 4, I know we're not a room here, at least 4 of their gods. Yeah, gods and goddesses. And then we'll do the other ones in a minute. So, Ms. Morris, Ms. G, how do we find this information? You are asking the most ridiculous, impossible things. Oh, children. Oh, children. So
We do tend to do that.
we do, I know, so ridiculous. We're so ridiculous. So right here, very helpful websites to Google. Huh, I wonder if those are helpful.
I think they're helpful.
Possibly a little helpful. So we all know how I love Google. I do love Google. Google can be very, very helpful.
However, we don't want to be Googling just government in Mesopotamia.
No, because number one, who knows, because Mesopotamia doesn't exist. So probably if you like say Google Mesopotamia government, you may get the right answer. But when kids like do Egypt government, they're gonna get the government for today. So they're like, Egypt has a president. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't even think the word was in
No.
existence
So I'm like,
3000 BC.
are you sure about that? Yeah, they have a president. So we are going to take these 3 websites are going to be the most helpful. I personally like the first one. So what you're going to do is, again, some things are fun to Google. Some things are easy to Google. Other things are not. So for example, when we're talking about was Hammurabi's code just, can't Google that. You can't Google that. It's not going to work. But when we're looking for basic facts like this. So I'm going to go to Google. No, I'm on Zoom. How do we go to Google? We'll just say home. So I'm going to put in the first website that Miss Morris said was very helpful, Ancient Mesopotamia, 6th grade, Miss G. So I'm going to put that in, Ancient Mesopotamia, what is it, 6th grade?
6th grade, yeah.
And there it is. You'll see it's a pretty helpful site. So I click on it right there. It's going to be, look, I'm always in the way, we're always in the way. Sites Google right here. Click on it. Tons of information. What, Miss Morris? What? So like there's the location, there's the climate, type of government, religions practiced, currency, important people,
And
inventions.
currency is that economic part.
Yes.
That's economics.
So is everything here? No, which is why we have given you the 2 other sites. But just for Miss G's site, you can answer probably 70% of your requirements for Mesopotamia. So let's start with political government. So type of government. Mesopotamia was ruled by kings. Kings only ruled a single city. So if I go back to here, and again, this is going to be kind of big because I'm doing it so you can see it. So I type of government. So it actually doesn't tell you the type of government. It tells you that it was ruled by kings. So you can Google that, or you can type a government, you can just put ruled by kings, which is technically called a monarchy. Ruled by kings. Sorry. And then the next step is important leaders. So there's one on that page, King Hammurabi. And then you could also get one of the important leaders from the Who's Who you did. But if not, you could maybe, like if I open up another Google page and go to Ancient Mesopotamia, let's try
Ducksters.
Ducksters or Mr. Dunn. Let's try Ducksters. There it is, Ducksters. History, Mesopotamia, wicka, wicka, whoop, whoop. So again, just as much information, timeline, cities, civilizations, culture, people. Here's some famous people right here. Look, we could just add another one. Darius the First, Cyrus the Great.
Now, we don't want to just go and insert those names into your squares. You want to read about those
Yes,
people and
exactly.
see why were they so important.
Yes, so like the Babylonian law was created by King Hammurabi. He was the first one to have the most complete set of laws written down, because before no one had the laws written down. So they'd be like, hey, you just broke a law. And they'd be like, what law? And they're like, the law that says you can't blink twice. And they're like, dude, I didn't know that. And they're like, too bad, it's a law, jail. And so people were like, dude, how do I follow laws? So Hammurabi was the first one who's like, you know, if I write down the laws, then people can follow them.
They'll know what they are.
They'll know what they
They
are.
know what happens if they break the law.
Exactly. So he was the first person. So he was very important. So then the third site is, and between the three of these, you will find all the information. Mr. Dunn, Mesopotamia Facts. Don, D-O-N-N. There you go.
You'll notice that these websites are good for all of the civilizations that we're going to be
Yep.
studying. So Mr. Don has a section for Mesopotamia, China, Egypt, Rome, all of them. And so do the other two.
Yep. I'm going to say my personal favorite is Miss G.
Miss G.
I feel like you can get not all, but most. So
And it's all laid out pretty
it is laid out. It's written out. So we talked about another one was Cyrus the Great. Sorry, I spelled that wrong. Cyrus. All right, and then the years it was a civilization. I remember seeing that on here. Duxter's talked about the years it was a civilization. Timeline in Mesopotamia. So I'm just clicking on it. And starts at about, looks 5,000 BC. This is when they had their first towns and cities.
Look at that timeline, you guys. It's pretty cool.
Wow. To 333 BC. It's really long.
It is long.
So,
And you'll notice if you look at that timeline, if you go through and read it, how many different groups of people ruled in the area that's called Mesopotamia.
yep. So 5,000 BC, what was it, to 333?
Yes.
That's a long time. That's what, 4,700 years, 4,667 years. That's
And
correct.
remembering that different groups came in, the Assyrians, the Akkadians, the Babylonians came in and ruled at different times during those thousands of years.
Yep. All right. So then we're going to go to our economy, currency and money. That means what was their money system? And it wasn't dollar bills. All right. Mesopotamians weren't like dollar bills, yo, dollar bills. It's not what they're screaming.
They didn't have paper.
They didn't have
Right.
paper. I think they did
Not the
because,
way we have it.
yeah. All right. So again, back to Miss G. Oh, pooper scooper. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, wait, I'm not sharing screen. Hold on, I'm back. Okay, let's share screen. Sorry, guys, we're new at this.
You're doing fabulous, by the way.
Oh, thank you. All right, so I don't know how. Oh, there we go. There we go, Miss G. So we're looking for, oh, money system, currency, right there. Mesopotamians traded their surplus goods for items they want or need. The Tigris and Euphrates River made it easy to travel to other cities as trade. Eventually, they were able to trade. So basically, they didn't have a money system. It was all trade.
It was all through trade.
It's like, hey, I'll trade you this for you trade me that. You guys are like, hey, Miss Morris, I'll trade you a soda for an A.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't
usually,
work.
does it?
Yeah, no. Well, it depends on the day. If it's a really bad day,
It might be.
it might.
It has to be big soda.
Yeah.
Maybe like that one. You got it.
Yeah. So then we put the currency is trade. Then we want to do at least 2 crops that they grew or something they traded. So I'm going to look at Miss G, location, climate, type of government, religion, currency, important people, social class. So I'm not really seeing anything on crops. So I'm going to go over to Duxter's, see if they talk about crops. Civilizations, notice all these civilizations. Again, different people during different times. Interesting facts, activities. See, let's try for third. Land between 2 rivers. Let's see, development. Here we go, development and agriculture.
Agriculture is farming and crops.
Exactly. So we read about it. It says there was wildlife to catch, fish in the rivers, and edible vegetables growing wild. So let's see. Oh, here they grew. The people of Mesopotamia did barley, dates, cucumbers, onions, apples, herbs, spices. They also did sheep, goat, and cattle. And like I talked about last week, because they are between the river, they had a ton of fertile soil, which allowed them to grow a lot of good crops. So if I go back, I'm going to do, let's say, wheat and barley. So I'm going to put wheat and barley.
Now you can certainly be writing this stuff in as we're going along. It's perfectly fine for you to write in what we're writing in.
Yep. So then religion, we're going to do one more religion. So first off, the type of religion. So I remember if we went to Miss G, she talked about religion. So Mesopotamia was polytheistic, which means they believed in many gods or goddesses.
Poly meaning many.
Yep, poly means many. So type of religion and definition. So if I was going to type right here, is it going to let me type? Okay, poly, I don't know how to spell it. How do you spell poly? T-H-E-S.
No, T-H-E-I-S.
Polytheistic? Okay, we're going to pretend like that. Polytheistic, which is belief in many gods. We'll just should put goddesses too, but we're running out of space there. And then at least 4 of the gods or goddesses that they worshiped. So here they had gods of the hills, the sky, the wind, and the water. They also had gods for each city. So for here, you can put the god of the sky. What else do they have? The god of the wind, the god of the, what was the other one? You know, my memory is horrible. No. Hills, sky, wind, water. So right away, what you see they name their gods are, what?
Well, we don't have a name just yet, but we know what they're the gods
Yes.
of.
And so we know what they valued. Obviously, if I'm going to make up a god, it's going to be like the god of Diet Pepsi, all right? It's going to be something that is very important to me. So when they're making these gods of the sky, of the wind, oh, I put sky twice. Those are things that they value, things that they know they needed in their civilization and in their life. That is not the name though. So if you want to be really amazing, you can Google, you know, I love Google. Google is good for many things. Mesopotami, Mesopotamia, gods and goddesses. So, who are the 7 gods of Mesopotamia? And so here they are, Enlil, Enki. So you could write down 4 of these. And then maybe what are they the gods of? Like
If you were to go to that site, it's probably one of those sites. It's probably going to tell you.
Yes, like Wikipedia. Again, Wikipedia is like, everyone's like, it's bad, it's bad. No, it's fine for something. Something like this, it is okay. Just understand the information could be a scholar, a really smart guy at Harvard. It also could be some guy in his mom's basement. Yeah, so you just gotta keep that in the back of your head. But, and obviously you don't want to use Wikipedia when you're doing a huge research project or something, but something like this, it's gonna be okay. And so this is Anu, and it is, he is, looks like the god of the sky, the god of heaven. Yeah, so information. So then the next one.
So they put in.
Yeah, whatever.
Anu, god of the sky.
God of the sky. So I could change this and put Anu. And then I can put god of the sky. All right, so social class. This is the one that kids always get a little tricked up on, and I'm not exactly sure why. Because basically all of the social classes in the ancient civilizations was set up like a triangle. So that's one thing I do suggest Googling separately is you can just put in Google Mesopotamia social structure. That's it. And then we have these images. And so this is what the social structure is going to look like. So basically what this means is at the very bottom was servants, laborers, and peasants. And it was at the bottom because that meant they were the least important.
You're going to find that it's pretty much at the bottom. They're pretty much at the bottom for all of these civilizations.
Yes.
One civilization conquers another, and they make the conquered people their slaves, their servants.
Above them was craftsmen. And as we're going up, notice there's less. So the biggest group is the servers or servants, laborers, and peasants. And usually the way it was, if you were born a servant, you died a servant. If you were born a peasant, you died a peasant. It wasn't like Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast. Oh, I thought I had my email closed. Sorry, guys. It wasn't like, you know, where you could find a prince and fall in love. So how it worked. So above craftsmen were officials, scribes, and minor priests. Apparently there was a distinction. And then at the very...
What's a scribe?
A scribe, oh, they saw that in their video. A scribe is someone who's right.
That's right.
Only men were taught to write because, you know, women aren't that smart. And only a few. They believed that not everybody should know how to write. They thought it was dangerous. They only wanted a few people to have that information.
And you can see how important the scribes were because of their placement on the pyramid. They're pretty darn important. They're the ones that are writing down all those laws. Hammurabi's code, they're writing down the religions, the names of all the priests and priestesses and gods and goddesses. And when you have the power of the pen, you've got a lot of power.
You do. And then at the very top is the king. Only one king. He was considered the most important above everybody else. So when you're drawing your social pyramid, you're just going to draw a triangle like we did right there and just kind of draw the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one, there's going to be 5. So it's going to be, I'm just going to do it this way because it'll be easier. So it's going to look like that. And then you'll just draw each one in there. So that is going to be for social class.
Even though that picture that she's showing you right now doesn't say king, there's the picture of the king.
Yes.
So to make sure that at the top you do say the king.
Yes, and like I noticed the one right next to it right here says king.
Oh, there you go.
And they may say a little different, but they're basically the same. I mean, it's essentially the same. All right, intellectual arts, the name of the writing system. So find out what is their writing called. I do believe that is Miss G. I just moved it. Oh, look at that. First written language, cuneiform writing. There you go. And then at least 5 inventions. Weird. It's like I was right there. Huh, weird. 5 inventions.
Right there.
Look, they had the first superhero.
Woohoo,
I know. Obviously not as good as Thor.
And they invented the wheel.
They invented the wheel. It's true. And again, I'm sure some people are like, what, Miss Morris? You said that the Cro-Magnons invented the wheel. Remember we talked about, there is some crossover. It's not like early man, pre-civilization ended and they're all done. And now we're in Mesopotamia. There was some kind of crossing over. So the wheel was during the Mesopotamian civilization, but there still was a little bit of early man time. They kind of mixed together at some point.
Well, a lot of that early man stuff, they forgot.
Right.
They might have invented it early on, but then it gets lost to time.
Right, and it kind of mixes in. Like if you have early man's ending, and you have Mesopotamia starting, there's going to be a point where there's a little crossover. So it could have happened in both. All right. 5. Okay, and then area geography. Again, you're going to do your little dots. 1 for modern day location, which we've already talked about. 2 bodies of water. You can get that from your map. The climate, that is on here. Miss G talks about the climate. If you go back up, climate, there you go. Talks about climate. And then name at least 2 cities. Again, all on your map. You can get all of this from your map except for the climate.
Let's show them again how that ought to look.
Oh yeah, here, I'll do your little bullet. So this should be, let's see, this should be,
You're gonna type them in.
yeah, this should be a triangle. Come on, little triangle friend. Triangle doesn't want to grow, guys. Oh, it's in white. Okay, let's do a black triangle maybe. There we go. So it should be not a full black, but you know, you understand the point. So that's going to be a triangle. Intellectual arts is going to be
One little bullet point. And
Yep.
then
one little bullet, and then that's going to be the name of your writing system. And then the next one is going to be 5 inventions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then area and geography is going to be, we'll just continue that. 1 for modern day location, 1 for bodies of water, 1 for climate.
there were 2 bodies of water.
Yep, so 2 bodies of water,
Yeah,
1 for climate,
Yeah.
and then 2 cities.
Yeah.
And obviously you can
Perfect.
write yours so it fits, like we wrote ours for it fits. And again, you're just doing Mesopotamia. Okie dokie. Again, if you have questions or comments, reach out, let us know. Hey, I got a question, I got a comment, I'm confused. When you are done, submit it to Miss G, how she says, and then to me, you know how you're supposed to submit it. All right, we love you, miss you. Have a good day.
Adios.
Be good people, make good choices, tell them one of your favorite, even if it's a lie.
Love you, miss you already.
She doesn't mean that.